I'd like to welcome you back to the channel. And we have with us today a friend of mine by the name of Ariel Stein, but on Instagram she goes by Ariel Loves. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me, Ari.
My pleasure. The reason I asked Ariel to come on is because she's a content creator on social media platforms. And as she said, she is a educator. Used to be more in a school setting. Now it's more in social media setting, but still educating nonetheless. And so I thought it would be interesting to have you on here to talk a little bit about what got you started, what motivated you, and well, what's the crux of your motivation and what you display and what's your goal for the world to see? I guess we'll break it down into separate questions.
Yeah, I'm happy to share all of those things. I guess for me, what the way I view myself is as a Jewish educator. And as you mentioned, I've worked in different settings in schools, on college campuses, at summer camps. And I still feel like I am wearing that Jewish educator hat, but on a different platform, which is social media. And my goal is really just educating and inspiring people, both Jewish and not, to learn more about Jewish culture, Jewish traditions, Jewish history, to also help people find what connects them with Judaism, through what lens they want to express their Jewish identity. And for some people, that might be food. Some people, that might be traveling or DIYs or home decor. And I love just sharing the joys of Judaism with people through my life and helping inspire them to find whatever that connection is for them.
That's great. And I like that you, first of all, you have an optimistic tinge. Is that the right word? On your channel. We'll go with tinge. And I think it's great because life and Judaism and everything is supposed to be about happiness. There's a lot of responsibility, but we're supposed to take it with joy. And what you just hit on right now is so key that you need to find what works for you. You need to find where you blossom and not fall into that quote unquote, let's call it Jewish guilt, since we are speaking about
Totally.
Judaism. So that's great. So yeah, go on. Let's hear how does
I
it
agree
play
with you.
out?
I think there's also at this moment in time so much negativity and a focus on anti-Semitism, which of course is important to eliminate. And I try to spread awareness on my platforms about that as well. But I don't only want to focus on the negative, and I don't only want to define my Judaism or have other people think of themselves, through the lens of, I guess, other people who hate us or as a victim, but really reclaiming the joyful parts of Judaism and the things that we can celebrate, not just the tough stuff. So it is a balance, but I do, I guess, view myself as an optimist. So I'm glad that comes across, and trying to
Sure.
show also the light, happy, positive sides of Jewish living. And I think it's been an amazing thing to connect with people online and in real life. But it's been able to, spread my message of joy and positivity, just way further than I ever imagined it could.
That's awesome. I think that it is all too often, even when we're getting complimented, but the way we're seen in the media and the news is like, oh, they're very conservative and they're very, withdrawn. And that's not true. And you show that just because somebody might dress more modestly or conservative, even the ultra Hasidic, there are people that like to have fun and they might be wearing the whole garb, but yet there's a joy and you express it out loud, and I think it's great. But something that I noticed about you is that in contrast to myself, people when they talk about my channel, they say, you have a very good, calm way about you, and I have to keep with this constant. It's like if I want to go crazy, it's like, wait, 1 second. We're used to Ari, in his platform acting a certain way. And I bring this up because, in contrast, on your platform, you are like, ah. So very rarely do you see you having this calm constant. And I think the only way to be genuine in anything in life, but this is an example, is if that's really you. Because if you were just like, ah, for the cameras, and then you went back to just being like, oh, at home, you wouldn't fool anybody. It wouldn't last long. So I picture it to be the truthful example of not only what you're displaying, but you, who you are. So it must be
Well,
fun.
thank you. Yeah, I think it's interesting whether you have a large following or a small one. I think all of us are influencers. And I say that because for anyone who has a social media account on any platform, we're deciding what it is that we want to share. And you're curating or filtering the content that you're putting out there and deciding what you're posting. And each of us, for our own communities of people who are consuming this content, can be influenced by it. So my hope is that what I'm sharing is influencing people for the good and showing people that there's not one way to be Jewish or look Jewish. There's not, like you said with the Jewish guilt piece, like if you're not doing enough or you're, I don't know, not as strict or following every law, that's okay. And my message is, find what it is that works for you. And, that's going to look different for everybody. I don't claim to be a representative of all Jewish people. I'm just sharing my Jewish life, and I'm one person out of millions. But if that can inspire someone to say, okay, even though maybe I don't keep every single law, or I don't dress this way, or express, this certain thing that I think is the right way, that doesn't mean it's not all or nothing, is what I'm trying to say. You can, do small things. And, if Shabbat is something that you're interested in doing, we have an opportunity every single week to, try one thing. Maybe that means you're buying a challah at the grocery store that week if you don't have time to bake it or you've never baked it before. Maybe that means, just planning to set some time away to have a special meal on Friday night. Doesn't mean that, for 25 hours you have to disconnect from technology. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. I think we can each take baby steps and try to find what it is that we connect with. And hopefully inspiring people to take those baby steps and try one new thing.
So it's funny because, you know, a lot of people, they respect people that do everything right or mostly right. So this is the way I look at it. Maybe I shouldn't be sharing. It's a little much, but I'll put it out there. This therapist once said to me, he says, you have OCD. And I said, what do you mean I have OCD? Come take a look at my car. It's filthy. He goes, exactly. He goes, people think OCD is when you need to be perfect. But OCD is actually when you need to be perfect, or if you know you're not going to be, you give up and you're just all the way not perfect. So what I'm getting at is like this. I actually have more respect for people that are exploring in the middle than people who are all the way. And, maybe that gives you a better understanding into me. But if somebody is all the way extreme and they have that lifestyle, they have that support system, they have that understanding in childhood, that they're just living their life. But when the rest of us are swimming in it and trying to figure out which way is upstream, that's pretty cool because now you're not OCD anymore. You're not all the way or none of the way. You're just living life. Now, I want to just say that the problem with these interviews is that this is truly just a come on to get people to come to check you out because you interview well and this is a great conversation, but we need to tell everybody where they can check you out so that they can see you in your natural habitat, because it's not this. You're great at interviewing, but your Instagram page, your Let's hear it. What you got? And also, obviously, I'm going to link it in the
Oh,
description.
thank you.
Of
Sure.
course.
So my primary platform is on Instagram, and I have two accounts. The first is ariel.loves, Ariel .loves, and that's where I'm sharing my daily life and everything from mom life and my kids to the recipes that I'm making for dinner. And then my second page is called Jewish Family Magic, and that's all one word. And that's where I share a lot of resources and inspiration, primarily for parents of young children, ages 2 to 8, who are looking for activities, crafts, ideas for things that they can do to make Jewish holidays fun and engaging for their children. There's a little bit of overlap, and I share a little bit of my life on there, but I try to just really find, the best kid-friendly ideas that people can try at home. And yeah, it's been a really cool experience of growing these communities and connecting with people. And my blog is called arielloves.com, or you can visit my website, jewishfamilymagic.com.
Awesome. That is perfect. Thank you so much for coming on. It was definitely an enjoyable conversation. And
Thank you
I
so
hope to
much for
have you again.
having me, Ari.